This month, we're going to be working on a 4-exercise circuit. So we're going to have 2 upper body exercises, 2 lower body exercises, and we're going to work 2 to 3 sets. And for this workout this month, we're going to be working 8 to 10 reps. Now you'll notice on your sheets, like I have one right here on your templates, it'll say 8 to 10 reps. The reason I wrote it that way is because I want you to start at the beginning of the month. The goal in the first workout is to find what a challenging 3 sets of 8 reps might be for you. And then we want to build from there. So each week the goal would be to see if you can get 9 or 10 reps in a set with those. Now it might look like in the first set you get 10 reps or 9 reps because you're feeling a little bit stronger, but maybe in the second and third sets, 8 reps was a really challenging number of reps. That's okay. That's what we're looking for. What we want to see, now it doesn't mean that's going to happen exactly like this, but by the end of the month, I'd like to see some of those 8 rep weights becoming your 10 rep weights. That means that you can also go down and take that 10 rep weight and go a little bit heavier and make it an 8 rep weight again. So for example, let's come down to what we're working on here. The first one I'll show you, this is our deadlifts here. Again, you can use the kettlebell or the trap bar for these deadlifts. The principle's still the same. We want quality reps, and we want to find a weight that, as Coach Matt's working here, he might start to feel it on that 6th and then 7th rep. He can start to tell that, okay, this 8th rep, this is going to be a really tough rep, right? Now, in his first week, he might pick up a weight and realize, oh, actually, that's my 10 rep weight. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's try to make it a little bit heavier so that we can turn it into our 8 rep weight. Then, in the next week, maybe he's challenging himself with that weight. He gets a set of maybe 9 in, but by the end of the month, I'd like to see that Matt can do 3 sets of 10 reps with a weight that used to be his 8 rep weight. If he gets there sooner, the good news is that in the second or third week, if he's already reaching that point, he can make that weight heavier again. So if he's deadlifting 100 pounds for 8 reps and then he gets it up to 10 reps, now we can say, hey, let's try 110 or 120 pounds and see if that feels like challenging for 8 reps, and we can keep building that way. But progressive loading can be efficient and effective. Other times what we want to use is a principle where we are going to overload those muscles with a certain amount of weight and then keep trying to get more out of them, as opposed to putting the demand on the muscles through the amount of weight you're using. We want to see if we can get more reps out of it to keep challenging ourselves. There, making that heavy weight start to feel a little bit lighter. We come back down, make it a little bit heavier, and we can keep working the progress that way. So we have our deadlifts, and now I'm going to go through the 4 exercises with you. For this circuit, you can technically go in whatever order, start with whatever, you can start with whatever exercise we're going to be working of those 4, but you want to match them up in an order that you're working the upper body, then the lower body, or vice versa. So that's going to give yourself a chance to recover. So if our first exercise is our deadlift for 8 to 10 reps, the second exercise, we're going to move over and we're going to work our bench press. So for this bench press, we're going to have a slight incline on the bench this month in this one. Not as high as what we had worked before, just a slight incline. And I want to see how it works on people's shoulders. For some of the research that people have been sharing with me, other people I follow, they find that this has been been a little bit more effective on people's shoulders. So we'll see how it feels. It's a very slight incline. Some people might not even notice it. So it's almost a traditional bench press. We're working those 8 to 10 reps. Again, here, let's say if you can do 25 pounds on each arm for 10 reps, we want to try that 30 and see if that becomes more of an 8 rep weight there as well. So there's a way to take it back down, or take the reps back down by taking that weight up a little bit to really get that challenge from the beginning of this month. Now, when you're working your bench press, we're going to work them both together here, so both arms are working together. I know there's a lot of questions about that because we mix it up a lot, but yes, this month it'll be both hands, both arms working the same time, and then you can either sit up with those weights or curl them down to the floor. So we have 8 reps here, or 8 to 10 reps there. Then we will go over to, and for this example, we would go to our anti-rotational split squats or slider lunges as we're working this. So this would be a lower body exercise. So we went deadlifts, then we went to our upper body with the bench press, and now we're going to work that lower body. This is more of what we would call an integrated exercise because we have a lot going on here with that anti-rotational aspect of it. We're going to get some core work in here as well. Those glutes are really going to have to fire as well as you're working all the stabilization muscles through those thighs and your core to keep yourself from rotating as you're changing your levels here as well. Now, we also have a slider aspect of this that we'll be adding in. Now, this video is also of Tia when we have the wall up. We'll be working this with bands on the beams, and we will add a slider in for those of you that are up for that challenge. This one is going to be when you're feeling like a little less stable, but you want to still get that challenge in. We want to focus on doing this well. As you start to feel like you are really handling that split squat and that anti-rotational aspect of this one, this is where you can go to that slider lunge, and this is where your glutes are really going to feel this one. This is a really challenging exercise for a lot of people. They underestimate how challenging this exercise really is because you see it from this perspective and it doesn't look like much. Once you get in there, you're going to notice the challenge. With this, arms are out straight, squeezing that back glute on the way down, but you're sliding back and then driving up. Everything's actually happening on that front leg, on that slider lunge here. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you just step a little bit further away from the beam to get that a little more intense core work there. You can also put a weight vest on if you want to add some weight to this exercise as well. Keeping those shoulders down and away, deep breath in on the way down, driving up on that front leg there. And then the last exercise, now this one you'll do 8 to 10 reps on each side. And then the last one would be our TRX rows here. So again, now we did our deadlifts, lower body, bench press, upper body, back to those split squats or lunges, which is an integrated lower body exercise. And then we're back to our upper body with our TRX rows. We got Coach Matt demonstrating nice, rigid, moving plank position here. Matt's also demonstrating how to make that exercise a little bit lighter if you need to, because with the TRX, it's always best to make it a little bit heavier because it's very easy to make it just a little bit lighter by putting that back, or putting one foot back here to lighten that load. Notice how he's keeping his shoulders down and away from his ears, and notice how his hands are at his ribs, not his armpits at the top as he's pulling up. So he's getting a good squeeze of those shoulder blades as he's pulling those hands towards his ribs, not up high towards his shoulders on this one. Now, if you want to progress with this one, make it a little heavier, you step further in. You can also practice those hip bridge rows that we have been working on, getting underneath the anchor point, using those hips to keep, or using those glutes to keep those hips up as you're working it, and straighten those legs out from there. So there's quite a few ways to make this a little more challenging. As you're in the session, if you're working with the coach and you feel like you want to make something a little tougher, just ask the coach and they'll show you another variation or a couple ways to make this a little more challenging without having to do much to make it that way. So it's really cool to use the TRX for these. This is one of my favorite, I feel like, exercises that people should be practicing frequently, because the benefits of it and what you get from using the TRX to do this exercise, the core and the glute activation that you can get from this one as well, makes it just an awesome exercise to keep coming back to. As opposed to boot camp where sometimes we're thinking lighter so we can move faster, here's your opportunity to really make those rows heavy. And I'll tell you a secret, it's not really a secret, it's science, but when you get stronger with your TRX rows and you get to that place where you can do them under the anchor point with your feet up on a box, you're going to be able to do a chin up as well. The one translates to the other pretty well because it's a lot of the same muscles working here, and we get to work them in a slightly different position, which is going to strengthen some muscles that will assist us on those chin-ups, but it will translate. So that's why you really want to challenge yourself with these rows, because that is a pathway to get in a place where you're able to do those chin-ups better as well. Now, you might not care about chin-ups, and that's okay if you don't want to as well. I'll also say this one helps with your posture. It's going to strengthen that upper back. You're going to be walking taller and prouder. So it's just an awesome exercise all around. So that is the end of our strength training. So we had 4 exercises. Again, you could start with the bench press and then go bench press, deadlifts, then go to the rows, then finish with the lunges. You could start with the rows, then go, the lunges. I would try to get the deadlifts out of the way as quickly or as early as you can, because they are pretty demanding. Whereas the lunges, we can modify a little bit, but it really is up to you here. give yourself about 60 to 90 seconds to rest between exercises, because if you do your deadlifts and then you give yourself 60 seconds to rest, then you go do your bench press, then you give yourself 60 seconds to rest, then you go back and you're going to do those lunges, you've actually had like over 2 minutes to recover from those deadlifts to let that lower body recover so that you can do that work. So that's why you want to make sure you're alternating an upper body exercise then lower body, or vice versa, so that you have that time to recover. It helps us save some time and get more work in and really fill that time up with some really challenging reps.